The British intelligence has developed new information about the concentration of the Russian forces on the Ukrainian territories. First and foremost, the Russians continue to gather their forces in the northeast around the river Seversky Donetsk and the city Balaklia. The Ukrainians treat the possibility of an attack in that region as a fact, however, when it comes to the other directions, things are not as clear. In the south, the Russians gathered significant amount of forces along the front line in the Zaporizhzhia and Donetsk region. Judging by the concentration of forces and how the local terrain can be strategically used in offense, it is virtually impossible to tell whether their main direction will be near the village Velika Novosilka, Uliapol, or along the river Dnipro. The British intelligence also warned the Ukrainians about the possible preparation of the Russians to make a big jump in the Mykolaiv region, block the city Mykolaiv, and move into the Odessa region. On top of that, the information suggests that the Russians can easily strike near the city Kharkiv in the northeast. As you can see, the front line is very long, the forces are more or less evenly distributed, and make it very difficult for the Ukrainian army to estimate where and what to focus on. On the other hand, the fact the Russians' forces are evenly distributed may suggest that they are in the defense mode, not offense. The fact of the matter is they are not ready for an attack yet. Some forces have not arrived yet, the troops in Mariupol are still engaged, the supply chain problems are not fully resolved, and the key bridges are not restored yet. In order to make sure that they will not lose any of their strategic positions in the short run, they may have assumed a defensive stance on the front line, therefore, we may see significant changes in concentration of their forces in the near future, when they decide that all the changes that needed to be made behind the scenes have been made. In the city Mariupol, a number of important events happened in the last several days. A few days ago, the last Ukrainian forces in the western part of the city had to move to the central part of the city because once the positions at the altitude have been lost, there was no strategic value in trying to hold these positions. In the northern part of the region, the Ukrainian forces tried to break away from the Russians. They attacked them and tried to breach their defense and move past it to escape, however, the attempt was unsuccessful and most of them were killed. After that, a huge number of the Ukrainian troops in the northern part of the city that was cut off their stronghold in the harbor could not withstand the overwhelming attacks and was forced to surrender. Around 1,000 soldiers put down their weapons and were spared. The last Ukrainian forces in the city Mariupol are located in the factory in the harbor and continue to fight back.